This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Welcome to Scissors and Scrubs Thanksgiving episode.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And as usual, you've always picked something fun. Fun for Thanksgiving. I cover topics that make me want to throw up. And Laura adds to what happens when all that bile comes up into your throat and makes you want to throw up.
Yeah.
So normally I would probably have Laura go because I went first last time, but I covered two really disgusting things, so we're going to sandwich her between nastiness.
Yes.
Trichinosis.
Lovely.
Trichinosis. Now, I know we associate it with pork.
Yeah.
So maybe people don't like turkey and they're cooking a ham instead of pork on Thanksgiving.
They put sausage and stuffing.
Sausage and stuffing. Boom. Thank you, Laura.
I mean, I don't, but people do.
I put sausage and stuffing. Yes. So I get it from Mayo.com and the 11 symptoms of trichinosis treatment, life cycle, and disease. There you go. Boom. Okay. So sometimes trichinosis is referred to as trichinellosis.
Oh.
Trichinellosis.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's a type of roundworm infection. The worms need a host body to reproduce.
Worms always need a goddamn host.
So most common hosts are bears, moose, and wild boar.
Oh.
They primarily infect meat-eating animals such as the above-mentioned. No, that can't be right. Because bear doesn't really eat a ton of meat. They're omnivores.
So they eat everything.
Veggies. That doesn't make sense, but that's what it said. And they also infect pigs. So I think what happens is the carnivores that eat those animals, i.e. humans, are the ones that get infected. An infection occurs when the undercooked or raw meat from these animals is ingested. When meat with the trichinosis larvae is ingested, the larvae mature into adult worms that then reproduce more larvae that travel through various tissues. It's widespread in rural areas throughout the world.
Really?
Yeah. In hog-raising areas in the United States. I didn't know there was hog-raising areas.
Oh, yeah. Those hog farms.
Hog-raising areas.
Squealing and squealing.
It's disgusting. My mother used to live near a pig farm. Yeah, that's good. Signs and symptoms vary depending on the amount of larvae you have ingested. When you swallow infected meat, the trichinella are encased in a cyst.
Ew. That's worse than just being a worm.
It's a worm with a home.
Oh.
So it comes in a little spaceship down your gullet into your digestive tract where the acid eats away its little home and it goes into your small intestines. Your digestive juices dissolve the cyst, letting the parasite free into your body.
Nice.
They just get more disgusting as you talk about them. The larvae then penetrate the wall of the small intestines where they mature and mate.
In the wall of your intestines?
Yeah. It's like a big party in there. You didn't know that? It's like Club 54, you know? Once I was alive. I was petrified. Girls are all wearing Halston dresses. Abdominal symptoms can start 1 to 2 days after ingestion. Other symptoms start 2 to 8 weeks after ingestion. Mild cases may have no symptoms at all.
That would be nice.
Your abdominal systems are... What would be number 1, Laura?
Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea.
You are right on. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and fatigue. It's exhausting when there's a party going on in your stomach. There's a party in my... Do you remember that? Do you ever watch Yo Stupid Gabba Gabba?
Ugh,
there's a party in my tummy. Yeah. So yummy. Yeah, that's what the larvae is saying.
I hated that show so much.
I hated it. It was so freaking stupid.
It was the stupidest show.
There's
Mike loved it.
There's a party in my tummy. So yummy.
Because some rapper was on it.
Biz Markie was on it.
No, it's somebody else.
This is Beats of the Day. Remember that?
Someone else that does music was on it.
I think the Flaming Lips were in an episode.
I don't know. Awful. Hated it.
It was awful. It was awful. But yes, Biz's Beats of the Day. He's dead now. Okay, so about a week after infection, the adult females produce larvae that go through the intestinal wall into your bloodstream and eventually burrow into muscle and other tissues.
Oh!
They love the burrowing of tissue. These symptoms include high fever, muscle pain and tenderness, swellings of the eyelids and face, weakness, headache, sensitivity to light, conjunctivitis, and there can be...
Are they in your eyes? Why is it your eyes?
I don't know, but
Why
it's
are your
splinter.
eyelids...
You can have splinter hemorrhages under your fingernails too.
Oh!
These are the signs they're going to look for trichinella.
Why are they in your eyes?
I don't know why they're in your eyes. but they're up
I
there.
don't like that. Like,
They're
fine,
having-
my thigh muscle.
they're
one
having
thing,
a
but
party.
My eyes is completely different.
Severe cases, complications related to trichinosis are rare.
Uh-huh.
In case of heavy infestation,
Oh.
larvae can migrate to vital organs, causing potentially dangerous, even fatal complications, including myocarditis, an inflammation of the myocardium, encephalitis, inflammation of your brain, meningitis, inflammation of the membranes around your CSF, and pneumonia, which can eventually all lead to death. Bum, bum, bum. Diagnosis. There's no accurate test for early infection. They'll kind of look and be like, what did you eat? So when I did the public health, there's also another thing you get from undercooked pork. So all these show up at barbecues because people don't cook the ribs enough. They don't cook the sausages enough. You should boil the sausages before you cook them. So there was I forgot what the other thing was. It was some babesiosis, or was that with ticks? I don't remember, but it had to do with undercooked pork. So when it burrows into the tissues, they can do a muscle biopsy, and that can tell them, they'll see the larvae in there. But they usually take a food history and they check your symptoms, and even if you don't treat it, it eventually resolves on its own. I don't know why they get tired of you, but they eventually get tired of you. If you have intense symptoms, Mintenzol can be used to kill off the adult worms, and Albinza. Vermox can treat the invasive cyst form.
Listen, even if I don't have intense symptoms, you're giving me that shit because I don't want them burrowing in me.
I'm drinking Listerine. Yeah. That's what I'm drinking. Okay. On average, the U.S. has about 12 to 20 cases per year in the last 2 decades.
Oh, so not a lot.
In 2007, Poland had a meat supplier pass out infected meat that infected hundreds of people with trichinosis. 2017, 17 people were infected after eating smoked brown bear cub in Katajia, Russia.
Oh my God. Who eats a bear cub?
And smokes it. Risk factors. Improper food prep. Undercooking your meat. Rural areas in the U.S. around hog farming regions. High infection rate. Consuming wild or non-commercial meats. Eating bear or walrus. Walrus is high. Yeah. You know, you're up in Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. You're a little hungry. Stop and Shop is closed. There's a walrus sitting on the beach. He looks like he's got a lot of meat. I don't know. I think quick 2 to the head would do it for him.
If you're just walking down the beach, you might not have a gun on you.
Well, I mean, he's a walrus. He's big. I don't know if, you know, maybe they're like the Mike Myers of animals. Where
they just don't go down.
No matter what you do, nothing kills them. So prevention. Cook your meat. Exclamation point 3 times over. Cook meat from wild animals and pork to an internal temp of 160 degrees Fahrenheit throughout. Cook your poultry to 165 degrees Fahrenheit and wait 3 minutes after you remove your meat for the heat before you eat it because it will continue to rise in temp and cook. You can freeze pork that is less than 6 inches in thick for 3 weeks. This will kill your parasite. Though the parasites will still live in wild animal meat no matter how long you freeze it, which I find bizarre. I don't know what that meat has that your domestic animal doesn't have, but it will live. Smoking, curing, or pickling your meat will not kill it. So those pickled pig's feet, not going to kill it. Don't eat them, Laura.
Don't eat them anyways.
Don't serve them for appetizers at Thanksgiving dinner. Imagine a big fucking plate of pig's feet, just hanging out hooves, the ears. And Laura, if you decide to change your mind and make sausages, clean your meat grinder thoroughly.
Oh, good. I was going to stop making my own.
I had a feeling you were going to make walrus sausages for Thanksgiving.
I was.
Or wild boar sausages. I know Mike's a big hunter.
Yeah, I'm going to get an old meat grinder and make
get that old meat grinder out that Nana used to use and just I can start pouring out some walrus meat sausages for your stuffing.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure between the walrus and the moose meat sausages that you clean your grinder thoroughly. Okay. And that is disgusting little...
I don't know why they're in your eyes.
Or you're into your fingernails. I don't know if you're just hemorrhaging because they're like backing up shit. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like conjunctivitis and eyelids swelling. I don't like that.
Cyst forms.
I mean, I don't like that, any of it, but my eyes are really bothering me.
Yep. They're nasty. Nasty. So that's the first thing that made me want to vomit today.
Yeah, that's gross.
All right, Laura, take it away.
All right, so we're just going to talk about Gerd.
Gerd.
We're not going to make anybody sick with this.
Gerd makes me sick. I'm not going to lie. You know when you're like eating and you burp up your own intestinal juice and it feels like it threw up in your mouth?
I have a lead stomach.
Oh, God. You've never thrown up in your mouth?
I mean, very rarely.
That burn and that taste. Yeah. Nope. If that's what GERD is, I'm good.
Yeah. So I got this information from mayoclinic.org. GERD is a gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's when your stomach acid flows back up into your esophagus, which irritates the lining of your esophagus. Yeah. So your stomach acid can only stay in your stomach. Yeah. Because your stomach's built for the stomach acid. Esophagus, very delicate tissue. It's your acid should not be in it. It will hurt the lining. Yeah. Tons of people experience reflux once in a while. Like you just said, like you eat something, you're full, you get
burp up that juice,
little burps of the juice.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, that's not GERD. Oh. GERD, I mean, it's like, you're refluxing your acid, but it's not, you don't have GERD. Okay. It's like a one-off. You know, what I mean? Like if it happens once in a great while, you had 3 glasses of coffee, you had a glass of wine, you had chocolate.
Going on there.
You had some peppers and onions. You get it coming up.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck
you had a day. You had a quite
feast
day.
in the North End.
When a reflux comes up from that, when you get some acid up in...
Yeah, I don't know who would have reflux after wine,
me,
sausages, coffee.
I'm telling you, nothing.
Couple of Cokes in there, too.
Yeah. If you have a day, you're eating that shit, it comes back up on you, you don't have GERD. You're just refluxing because of all that. GERD is like a mild reflux that occurs at least 2 times a week. So you have to have it 2 times a week. Okay. Mild symptoms. Or severe reflux that occurs at least once a week. So it is a constant thing. They can be severe or they can be mild, but if it happens several times a week, you have GERD. Yeah. Not the one-off. You know, my mother can't eat peppers and onions. Like that's not GERD.
I would love it if it was once a week.
Like, how often do you have it?
It's constant.
Like daily?
Yeah.
Well, is it like that throw up in your mouth feeling?
Well, yeah.
It's not.
If I don't take my pill, yeah, that's what happens.
It's not only once a week, but it has to be at least once a week. So symptoms of GERD. There's a burning sensation in your chest, usually after eating, and it may be worse at night. You have chest pain, difficulty swallowing, regurgitation of food or sour liquid, or a feeling of having a lump in your throat. Nighttime GERD has the following symptoms: chronic cough, laryngitis, new or worsening asthma, and disrupted sleep.
Wow. So asthma, what's getting your lungs?
Because you
laying down.
What's it called? Help me. It goes back up into your lungs.
Aspirate.
You aspirate. Causes of GERD. So when you swallow something, there's a circular band of muscle at the end of your esophagus that relaxes. That band is called the lower esophageal sphincter.
Those sphincters.
They cause you so much trouble. When it relaxes, it lets the fluid of food flow into the stomach. Once that food gets into your stomach, the sphincter closes again. It's only supposed to let things down.
Not let back up.
Not let back up. If that sphincter is weak or relaxes at abnormal times for whatever reason, it allows stomach acid to flow back up into the esophagus. That backwash irritates the lining of the esophagus and causes it to become inflamed.
Mike, you have a lot of backwash because you have a lazy sphincter.
Well, I'd say the caffeine weakens that, and I haven't had any caffeine in a week, and I am getting better. Yes.
Oh, just saying. That would kill me, though.
Well, there's other things that cause it that you have since squashed. Like obesity. Hiatal hernia. What did the doctor say to you? He goes, the doctor said the O word to me. That's when he lost the weight. I was like, finally, the doctor said it, so he'll lose the weight.
Oh, Mike lost a lot of weight. He looks great.
Yeah. Obesity helps give you reflux. Hiatal hernia, which is when your esophagus is up. I mean, your stomach is up into your chest because there's a hole through your diaphragm.
A weakening in the wall.
Yeah. So that makes like your stomach squeeze because it's up in your chest instead of in your abdomen, causes that reflux. Pregnancy, because everything gets loose in pregnancy and it's pushed way up and there's tons of pressure on your stomach. Connective tissue disorders, which makes your sphincter weak, and delayed stomach emptying. They all put you at a greater risk for GERD. Smoking, eating large meals or eating late at night, eating trigger foods like fried or fatty foods, drinking alcohol or caffeine, or taking certain meds like aspirin can aggravate your GERD.
Yeah, makes sense.
If you have GERD and have chronic inflammation, they can lead to several complications. You can get an esophageal stricture. That's when the damage from the stomach acid can cause scar tissue, which can lead to a narrowed esophagus, which makes it difficult to swallow. So then food starts getting stuck in your esophagus.
And then you're choking and throwing up. And
it's awful.
That's going to hurt too.
Yeah. It can lead to a stomach ulcer because the acid can wear away tissue in the esophagus. This will cause an open sore in your esophagus, which can bleed, cause obvious pain. You're swallowing constantly over that raw, open surface, and cause difficulty swallowing. Obviously, it's going to hurt. You're not going to want to do it. It can also lead to Barrett's esophagus. This is when the acid causes precancerous changes to the tissue lining the lower esophagus. And that increases your risk of esophageal cancer. You should see a doctor if you experience severe or frequent Gerd symptoms and or if you take over-the-counter meds for heartburn more than twice a week. So if you haven't seen a doctor but you're constantly popping Tums or whatever over-the-counter medicine you're on for it, you need to go see a doctor because this stuff is going to ruin your esophagus. When you see a doctor, they'll perform several tests. Well, they can perform several tests to see what's happening and how extensive the damage is. First, they'll ask you, what's happening? What are your symptoms? What are you eating? What's your weight? Blah, blah, blah. Then they can do these tests. There's an upper endoscopy. That's when the doctor inserts a long, thin, flexible tube that has a light and camera attached down your throat to see your esophagus, the sphincter, and the stomach. They can see if there's inflammation. They can even biopsy the tissue to check for Barrett's esophagus.
For some reason, the smell of esophagoscopies make me sick.
Yeah, because it's acid.
It's in their mouth, and it just grosses me out. I don't even want to touch that thing with gloves on when it comes out. I don't know why it bothers me more than a colonoscopy.
Because everybody knows the smell of shit. Right. But that acid smell is something new.
It's just disgusting.
They can do a pH probe test. They place a monitor into your esophagus that is attached to a portable monitor that you wear around your waist or over your shoulder. The monitor can be a thin tube threaded through your nose into your esophagus or
that would drive me crazy.
A clip placed into your esophagus during an endoscopy. And that you poop that clip out about 2 days later. This tells them when and how long stomach acid gets regurgitated.
Yours would be off the charts.
No, I'll tell you about my sister. You can have a barium swallow. For this, you'll drink a drink of barium. It is this thick, white, chalky substance. Shit. Everybody always has it all over their face after they drink it.
It's just disgusting.
It's gross. It coats your digestive tract, and then they take x-rays so they can see it coming down your digestive tract. And they can see how everything flows through, if it's coming back up, if it's going down, if it's emptying. They can see what's going on in your tract. So you're diagnosed with Gerd. What's next? Based on the symptoms and the results of your tests, your doctor can prescribe over-the-counter meds like antacids that neutralize your stomach acids, and the ones that neutralize your stomach acid are Tums, Rolaids, Mylanta, anything like that. Meds to reduce acid production like Pepcid, and meds that block acid production and heal the esophagus like Prilosec or Prevacid. If needed, they have Pepcid, Prevacid, Prilosec, and other drugs like Protonix and Nexium in prescription strength. So if those over-the-counter is not touching you, you get a prescription strength one. These prescriptions come with side effects, though, like vitamin B12 deficiency and increase of bone fractures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's also Baclofen, which is a prescription med that helps strengthen the lower esophageal sphincter.
So these for the kids with CP, Baclofen. To strengthen
that.
Tone better.
If meds don't help, there are surgical interventions. You can have a laparoscopic Nissen fundoplication.
I love that word, fundoplication.
It's a minimally invasive surgery where they wrap the top of your stomach around the lower esophageal sphincter to tighten the muscle. They do it with a scope. You have a couple incisions.
A couple of sutures in there, and boom, it's done.
You can have a Lynx device placement. The Lynx device is a ring of tiny magnetic beads, and they wrap that around the sphincter. The magnetic attraction of the beads keeps the sphincter closed unless you're swallowing food. It's strong enough to keep it closed, cool, but it's weak enough to open when you have to swallow something.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, this can be placed with a laparoscopic procedure again. If you have a hiatal hernia, if your stomach is up in your chest instead of in your abdomen, which causes reflux, you can have surgery to have that repaired. They pull your stomach down out of your chest. They close the deficit in your diaphragm, and your stomach's back where it's supposed to be. They can do that laparoscopic too. Things that you can do at home to improve your Gerd are maintain a healthy weight, stop smoking, elevate the head of your bed.
I just bought one of those beds. I'm 90 years old. I lay in bed. Remember the Craftmatic adjustable beds with our link letter? I'm laying in bed watching TV now.
Don't lie down after a meal. Eat slowly. Avoid trigger foods like fatty or fried foods, tomato sauce, alcohol, chocolate, mint, mint is like so good for your stomach. I found that odd.
Isn't ginger good for your stomach?
Yeah, but mint, have a mint tea. Like if your stomach's upset, that's why
yeah.
you'd have mint. Garlic, onion, and caffeine. And
Everything
avoid...
I love. Literally everything I love.
Yeah. And avoid tight clothing because that puts pressure on your abdomen and the sphincter. So that's it for Gerd. So I did that because, Mike doesn't shut up about it. And
Mike.
Sam had Gerd.
Growing up.
Jack has it now. My sister has severe Gerd. My grandfather died of esophageal cancer.
Oh, wow.
So growing up, my sister she would have the bell on her door because she sleepwalked. And then you would go in her room in the morning. You know the smell of the upper endoscopy?
Yep.
Her bedroom
It stink like it.
reeked. I mean, it was like you were walking into someone's stomach. It smelled so bad. She was like this little teeny tiny girl.
Imagine your teeth and shit.
Reeked from the acid. You have never smelled something like that. She had her bed up. We had the head of, like the top part of her bed, the legs on bricks to keep it because you're supposed to elevate it like 6 to 9 inches. She had medicine. She had that pH probe. I remember her. There's a picture of her. She was so skinny and she's wicked tall. Yeah. There's a picture of her in my mother's bed. So she looks like even tinier because it was like a queen bed or something. And she has the pH probe and she has the little machine that's connected to in her hand. And she like looks like she's like an orphan. And she has the bangs and the thing on. She looks like she's dying and she's so thin. And I'm like, oh my God. I remember thinking, oh my God, she must be dying. She has this thing down her nose. Probe.
And, was that thing off the hook?
Huh? Oh yeah. It was ridiculous. The numbers were ridiculous. She had terrible.
What have they done for her?
She's been on like every medicine under the sun, Zantac and Prevacid and whatever prescription meds. And then one of them, I can't remember which one it was at the time, she got pancreatitis from it when she was a teenager. And she had to be in the hospital like for a while, a long time. And they kept saying like, well, how much do you drink? How much? She's like, I don't drink. And she didn't because her reflux was so bad. She never drank. She couldn't because it would hurt it so bad. And they like wouldn't believe it. She's like, I don't drink. I don't. And then they finally figured out it was the medicine that caused the pancreatitis. Anyway, so since then she has had a Lapnicin.
Make it much better?
I think she's still on. I'm not sure if I'm correct about that. I think she still has to take meds. I think she does still have it, but it did help her. I think she was thinking about getting it redone though, because it's still bad. It's really bad. Don't quote me on this. I feel like recently she might have said that her endoscopy came back Barrett's esophagus.
Did we, back in the day, remember on the intestinal tray we used to have the vagal nerve hook?
Yeah.
Was that to stop the production of some of that juice that's in your stomach? Like, why did we do vagotomies? Were vagotomies because of people with ulcers and you were trying to
open it?
To decrease the amount of I wondered why they don't do those anymore.
I don't know. We don't even have it anymore.
No, I haven't seen one of those hooks.
The vagus nerve hook.
We used to use it all the time. Yeah. Give me the vagus nerve hook. Yep. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, some of you old school techs and OR nurses will remember that.
It's like a long ass one of those
crochet
hooks.
And a hook on the other.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in years.
I should Google it because what was a vagotomy for? I should have been doing that in the beginning, but I swear I thought it was to get rid of some of the people were producing, because people were getting ulcers before they realized it was H. pylori. And
Maybe.
And
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. Listening to this makes my stomach burn.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Burn, baby, burn.
You got to get it treated, though, because esophageal cancer is no joke.
No, not at all.
It's not good. And it will just burn and burn and burn, and then your cells change, and then...
You know what the worst part is? It's not the pain. It's when... I haven't had this in a while because I treat it, but your mouth would fill up with that fluid. You have to spit, and I'm sure that's why you see people spit on the ground.
It's disgusting, though. It's disgusting.
It would just fill up to the point where you can't hold it in anymore.
Sam never had that, though. Sam had wicked reflux as a baby, and then as a child, he was losing weight for like a year when he was a little older, and he was on meds and stuff, but he would smell like I would walk in, I'd be like, oh, does your stomach hurt? And he's like, yep. I'm like, I know, because I can smell your acid. And his breath will smell like the acid sometimes, but he's gotten gradually better over the years. But we raised the head of his bed. He had the crib raised. Mm-hmm. He had it pretty...
kids, little babies get it all the time.
He had it as a baby. But then as he got old, it went away when he was like a toddler. And when he got older, it came back. When he was like 6 or 7, he was we had to go to the doctors every month, and every month he would drop weight.
Okay, so I just looked up why we did vagotomies while you were saying that. They were traditionally done to treat peptic ulcers by reducing the amount of acid your stomach produced. These days, it is rarely done on its own. Instead, people usually start taking antibiotics to clear out the H. pylori infection or protein pump inhibitors to reduce stomach acid. But it seems like you might want to do that before you do anything else more drastic, because it wasn't a big deal.
But maybe it didn't work or something. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't as successful as...
Yeah. Oh my God, we did them all the time.
It was vagus nerve.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, but just go get seen
get
if you're having to do...
Could kill you in the
if you're
long run.
popping Tums constantly, go to the doctor.
Yeah. When my mother-in-law was having a heart attack, she was getting heartburn, because women tend to get heartburn. And my father... I remember her asking me, like, does it cause this? I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And she had been having heartburn for 3 days. He's like, when she was in bed, there was Tums all over the bed. I thought, so you were having a heart attack for 3 days. Didn't end well.
No.
Okay, so on that note, we're going to move on to, this really made me want to puke, tapeworms. Though I have been fascinated with tapeworms since a kid.
When I was younger, I was very thin. And I eat like, you see how I eat. I've always eaten like that. I have never not eaten like a truck driver. I eat like a ridiculous amount of food, and everyone would be like, you must have a tapeworm. Yeah. How do you eat that and you're that thin? You must have a tapeworm. You should go get seen by the doctor.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I should check Cameron for a tapeworm.
You should check Cameron for a tapeworm.
They have fascinated me, the thought of a worm that eats all your food. Like, what do they look like? I've always been fascinated by them. They're actually fucking disgusting. Yeah. So I get my information from mayoclinic.com. Tapeworm infection is caused by ingesting food or water contaminated with the worm eggs or larvae. If you eat or drink water contaminated with feces from a person who is infected with tapeworm, that's how you get it. I.e., a dog is pooping infected tapeworm poops on the ground. It goes into the soil washes into your drinking water, you now have tapeworms. If you eat raw or undercooked meat, back to not cooking your meat, from an infected animal, you get tapeworm. Tapeworms consist of a head, a neck, and a chain of segments called proclodids. When infected, the head adheres to the abdominal wall, and it continues to make proclodids and more and more and more of them.
So it's like a sausage.
Kind of.
Like a sausage.
And those produce eggs, and the eggs keep going. Tapeworms can grow up to 80 feet
No, they
long.
cannot.
80 feet long and can live up to 30 years.
Oh!
So maybe you do have a tapeworm.
Maybe.
Okay.
No, I've gained weight in between.
80 feet long, and he is now living with you like a fucking parrot, because it's 30 years in, you still got your goddamn tapeworm.
30 years.
30 years.
Oh my God.
Mayoclinic.com. 30 years. Literally, if I could have written vomit
80
emojis.
feet? That's like as long as my house.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because they must just collapse on each other.
yeah.
You know?
Oh.
I wanted to put little vomit emojis as I was writing this out. Okay, risk factors. Poor hygiene.
Yeah.
Big surprise there. Infrequent hand washing and bathing, or exposure to livestock, especially with improper removal of their poop.
Oh.
Traveling to developing countries. Eating raw or undercooked meats. Living in endemic areas, i.e. Latin America.
They have a lot of worms, it seems like, because when we
Latin
just did
America,
our other
I'm
thing.
going to bring up another place we talk about all the time with infection. Not China, but China.
Uh-huh.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes.
How many things have come out of Sub-Saharan Africa or Southeast Asia? Places that have free-range pigs.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, I believe when I did this, the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, they have this whole exhibit. It's called like the Chinese house or something, and they literally brought an entire home from China and rebuilt it at this museum, and they go through what it was like and this and that. They never eat raw vegetables because they fertilize their fields with human feces.
Oh.
And then you would have to cook everything so you didn't get all the diseases that you get.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
you do it with animal feces, so I guess.
Yeah, but they eat like animal feces. You're eating, horses and cows and chickens. They're eating grass.
I know. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
Like, it sounds terrible, but then you're like,
feces,
you do it with shit anyway. So
right, we're dirty goddamn animals.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just kind of grossed me out. So they don't eat raw vegetables because that's what they're.
Yeah, they're gonna cook it.
Yeah, they think we're gross. So symptoms. Many people have no symptoms, probably the ones who have one for 30 years. Symptoms depend on type of tapeworm you have and where your larvae have migrated.
Ugh. Not my eyes, please.
Oh, no, it's better. Okay, so intestinal infection, you're going to have nausea, diarrhea, weakness, dizziness, loss of appetite, abdominal pain, salt cravings, weight loss, and inadequate absorption of food. I know Cameron has a tapeworm now. Okay. If larvae, they move out of your intestines, they form cysts in other tissues that can cause organ and tissue damage. Those symptoms include headaches, cystic masses or lumps of tapeworms under your fucking skin, allergic reactions to larvae, and neurologic signs, including seizures. If you experience any of these, Laura, seek medical attention. Yes. Complications. You can have an intestinal blockage, because the segments are blocking up shit. If they're big enough, they're going to cause appendicitis because they will completely block off your appendix with his proglottids.
His proglottids is just clogging that up.
They're just growing. And they can also block off your bile or pancreatic duct.
If we ever do a lab happy
and I see...
and there's a worm in it.
There's a segment of a tapeworm in there.
I might die.
I'm going to flee out of the room. Okay?
I might die.
You can get neurocysticirrhosis.
Sounds terrible.
Yep. You can have headaches, seizures, visual impairments, meningitis, hydrocephalus, dementia, and even death from these guys. Because they will go, when they're infecting other things, there's no place for them to grow, so they're clogging it all up. When organs are infected, the cysts... This part made me fucking want to puke. Okay. So the organs are infected with these cysts. They crowd out the functioning portion of the organ, and they're growing, and they're growing, and they rupture.
Oh, well, you gotta say that.
Yep. And they release fucking eggs and larvae when they rupture. And they infect other organs when they do that. So the ruptured, leaking cysts can cause itchy hives, swelling, and difficulty breathing.
You think?
And they can lead to organ transplants. Now imagine pulling out an organ of like a liver, and it's full of tapeworm.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. I also might die though.
Yep.
I can't.
You then go to hand it me and be like, nope, out, done. Hard no.
Nope.
Hard no.
Nope. Oh God, no.
So your diagnosis is usually made through a stool sample.
Yeah.
Shocker. So they're looking for worms in your poop. And these are real, these aren't microscopic. These are, you can see them. And I'll tell you why. Okay. We're going to talk about a story later.
Okay.
In a stool sample, if your stool sample's positive, they're going to do a blood test because they're going to check because there's different types of tapeworms. So they're going to see what kind of antibodies you're building up to it, and they're going to try to do antibiotics that way. In severe cases, you can have an MRI or a CT. See what they're blocking up with their proglottids.
Yeah.
Treatment depends on the type of tapeworm. It's usually treated with oral meds, most common biltricide. So it must taste like shit, and the worm gets paralyzed. He's like, this is gross. And you flush him out. So
80 feet of it?
80 feet of it. If he's big enough, you're going to know you're getting him out.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So the meds paralyze the tapeworm, which forces it to let go, and it poops him out. Stool samples will be checked 1 and 3 months after treatment. If he's big enough, you're going to have major cramping when he's coming out.
You think? You're not going to be able to stand up.
You're pooping out a rattlesnake. That's what I envision. You're pooping out a fucking rattlesnake that's just been living off of you for 30 years. So when confined to intestines, 95% of people will be cured with this treatment.
Oh, thank God.
Prevention. Wash your fucking hands.
Please,
all right, just wash your hands in the bathroom. After the bathroom, before you eat, wash your hands. Wash your hands will prevent so much.
Lots
if you
of it.
Listen to the Lister episode. Just wash your hands. Can't believe we still have to say this.
It's unreal.
When traveling to high-risk areas, wash and cook all fruit and veggies before eating. But you have to boil the water you're washing with first.
Right, because that's dirty.
Because that's full. That could be full of poop, too. If you're dealing with livestock, properly dispose of human and animal feces.
Please.
Thoroughly cook your meat to temperatures of 145 degrees. You can freeze meat for 7 to 10 days and fish for 24 hours in a freezer at negative 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Because sushi can give you tapeworm. I bet, depending on where they are coming from. Avoid eating raw or undercooked pork, beef, or fish. Though that's not going to stop me for 1 second from eating
sushi.
And treat dogs for tapeworm. Okay.
Please.
So, I remember hearing about this story. It was told on Untold Stories of the ER. And then there was multiple articles about it. Okay. August 2014, Florida. Young girl goes to the ER. She is in severe abdominal pain. Florida. the nurses and docs are like, she's pregnant. She got to be pregnant. And the girl's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm dying. I gotta go to the bathroom. They take her to the bathroom. And according to nurse Marica Cabra Osario, the toilet bowl was full of tapeworms. Quote, it was gross. She had pooped all these tapeworms. There were a couple that were very long and wiggling, trying to get out of the toilet. Unquote. I would have left her there and been like, I'm done. I quit. Out.
I'm never nurse again.
Out. Trying to get out. You would have heard me screaming.
Oh, yeah.
You would have heard me screaming because I would have been like, oh my God, this is a toilet bowl. Disgusting. So they go out and they're in the ER with the mom and they're like, holy shit. She has tapeworms. Mother goes fucking white. Because the mother had bought the tapeworm eggs in Mexico and fed them to her daughter on purpose.
To lose weight.
Mm-hmm. Because she wanted her to get ahead of the beauty pageant and just because she was getting ready in a beauty pageant. So the mother says the nurse is like, we wondered where the kid got the tapeworms. The mother turns white. The mother starts apologizing to the daughter. Quote, I'm so sorry. I did it just to make you a little skinnier. You needed help before we went on the pageant circuit. Unknown if criminal charges were filed against mom.
It should be.
Yeah. Thank you, Mom.
Oh, my God.
Could you? I can't.
No. Shitting tapeworms?
Yeah.
No.
How about that you can buy the fucking eggs for that reason?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Like, can I have a bundle of tapeworm eggs?
Yeah.
I'm going to serve them as caviar at my party because all my girls are a little chunky.
Well, they get a little heavy.
A little heavy around the hips.
Oh, my God.
How
That's
gross
disgusting.
Is that? How gross is that?
That's disgusting.
How gross is that?
I was kidding. I don't want a tapeworm.
No.
That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. Imagine going to the bathroom and that thing's looking up at
You would think there was something like when they gave it that medicine, like it could just shrivel up so you don't have to actually poop out the worm.
Oh, no. And
Yeah.
it's like multiple worms because she is
Right,
shedding
it's
eggs the whole time in there. So the little tiny tapeworms coming out with it.
Oh, no. No, I would die. No.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Yeah.
Enjoy your stuffing and turkey. Make sure you cook all of your
everything.
goddamn meat.
160 degrees.
160. Just char it. Just
Make
char fucking everything.
170. Call it be safe.
Between the trichinosis and the tapeworm, and if that doesn't get you, this episode is going to give you Gerd.
Oh.
So you're going to just be throwing up in your mouth the whole time you're listening to it. It's so goddamn gross.
That's disgusting.
I cannot believe it's Thanksgiving.
It's my favorite day.
But I can't believe
It's already Thanksgiving.
it's here.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe it's here.
It's crazy.
So, one of our Christmas episodes, we decided to mix it up a little bit. Laura and I are giving each other gifts.
Yeah.
So, I gave her a subject I wanted her to research for me because it's something I always want to know about. And she gave me a subject that she wants to know about. And we're trying to get Mike to decide what he wants to learn about. I think he wants to learn all the depths of Mike Myers, but I'm just kidding. I don't know. He's going to tell us what he wants to learn. And if you have any ideas for stuff, throw it in.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. So have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Don't kill everybody on Black Friday. All right.
Just
stay home.
Shop on the internet.
Cyber Monday. It's
it
all
makes
about
it
that.
so easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's easy. It's quick.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. I can't wait for Thanksgiving. Oh my God. I can't wait.
I love it.
Stuffing. My daughter was asking me today, like, are we making anything new? I'm like, whoa.
No.
There's staples on
No.
Thanksgiving.
Mm-mm.
Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes,
You need to
squash,
teach her.
pumpkin pie, apple pie. You don't mix with the like. It's been this way for centuries. You don't mix with.
I don't understand. I know I've said this before. I don't understand what people. I'm trying a new stuffing.
No,
fuck you.
No,
I'm
go with the
not,
traditions.
I want my
No, fuck you.
Thanksgiving dinner the same Thanksgiving
You bring out
dinner.
stovetop, so help me God, I'm leaving.
I want it the same exact
Yeah.
way. I don't want something new. I don't want something
The
different.
only thing I may experiment with is the side veggies. Like I might like. She's like, "Come here, broccoli." I'm like, "Broccoli? That's not a Thanksgiving vegetable.
No.
It's fucking green beans with the little French fried onions on top." I said you can mix up the vegetables a little bit, but
I mean,
the staples will be there.
Yes, you have to do this.
You
I
have
have
to
to
do.
have my meal. That's I look forward to it
Yes.
all year long.
Yes.
I want that meal.
Yes, and why we can't make it any other day of the year, I don't know, but it's only on
My kids are
Thanksgiving.
always like, if you love it so much, I don't know why we don't have it. I'm like,
because it's
because
special,
it's special
on that day.
Because it won't
That's
be
why.
as special if I have it
I
another
love
day.
stuffed quahogs beyond belief. I will only eat them on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Why don't I make them? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's stupid. But Christmas Eve, they
It's
come out.
special.
I'm like, and I have like 10 of them.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we will see you at Christmas
Oh
time.
my God.
Boo, boop, boop, boo.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at scissorsnscrubs, and email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsnscrubs@gmail.com.